Hey guys, what's up? It is time for the Notre Dame preview and prediction. So as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And if you are a Notre Dame fan, make sure that you like this video. It helps me out a lot. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. What is your schedule prediction for Notre Dame? I'd love to hear it. I'll respond to every single comment. So make sure that you put that prediction down below. What do you think they will do? Stuff like that. So make sure that you put that stuff down in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel because I will be putting out a Notre Dame preview for every single one of these games throughout the season. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you never miss another video. So let's get started because we have a lot to talk about. Notre Dame has one of the tougher schedules in college football this year that really crosses the map, going from Ohio State with Clemson at home, with at USC, at Nevada against BYU. It's a really tough schedule. So let's get started at Ohio State. And though I really think that Notre Dame is in an interesting position with Marcus Freeman, and I think he is the right hire. And if you want to go check out my instant reaction, it's over there on the channel. You're gonna have to scroll down a little bit though, because that video was in January. But I think that Marcus Freeman is the right head coach. I think he is. But the problem is that his alma mater is a tough opponent, and it is going to be really hard to beat them. I think Notre Dame is going to lose this game. With this game being at Columbus, with it being week one, with C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith and Jigba all being there on the Ohio State team, I find it really hard to pick Notre Dame to win this game, just for the sake of you have a lot of competition on that end and a lot of valued competition when you have a year one starter in Tyler Buchner as your presumed starter, though as long as Drew Pine does not put any more banana shells in his classrooms, Tyler Buchner should be a starter. I find it interesting. It's going to take a lot, and I don't want to give too much because I will have a preview for this game. But I think it is going to be an interesting matchup and one that's a lot closer than most people think it is. Then Notre Dame will play Marshall for their first home game of the season. This is an easy win. Marshall is not as good as they were in 2020 or as has been in a couple of years. I don't think that they're particularly great. Notre Dame should get an easy win and a bounce-back win after the loss at Ohio State. Then you have a home game against the California Golden Bears. This was kind of a recent add to the schedule in the past year or so. California, not much of an opponent. They've really struggled in the Pac-12 in the past couple of years. I don't see any issues with this game. I think Notre Dame will be just fine. The California is not that much of an opponent, and not even an opponent that I've looked that much into, just because I don't think they're that good. And they've had some players go to the NFL draft here or there, Jared Goff, Ashton Davis, stuff like that. But consistently, no, not really. Then you head to the North Carolina Tar Heels, who, as always, everybody's favorite friend at Notre Dame here, with Mac Brown's team. Notre Dame has consistently beat them the past couple of years, and they played better without Kyle Hamilton, so no Kyle Hamilton this year, so the secondary should be terrific. But all jokes aside, I think that North Carolina will be better than most people expect. But I don't see an issue with this game. I think Josh Downs, you need to do a better job at covering Josh Downs, slowing him down a little bit, just stopping him from getting in the end zone. And you don't have Sam Howell to compete with anymore, so I think that does help. You don't have his mobility, but we'll see what comes of this new quarterback from North Carolina, see how he produces. But with it being only week 4, I think Notre Dame should be okay. And then going into week 5, you have a bye, and then you head all the way out to the Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas against the BYU Cougars. I have this as a win, even though I think BYU is a good team, with their coach doing a very good job. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that name, but he's doing a good job. He's really improved that team. Has had a couple of good seasons, 2020, 2021, both solid seasons. I think that he's starting to build something. The problem that I have is I think Notre Dame's just too good, and I think Marcus Raymond will get another win here, though it is not going to be an easy game by any means, and I think it could be a top 25 matchup there. Maybe even a top 10 or 15 matchup. Or not 10, top 20 or top 15 matchup. Then you head to a home game in which I will be attending against the Stanford Cardinals. This should be a win. I don't see any issue. David Shaw should be on the hot seat. So we'll see which Notre Dame coach will go to that program next after Clark Lee went to Vanderbilt, and the former defensive coordinator for Notre Dame and the other former defensive coordinator, Mike Elko, went to Duke. We'll see which Notre Dame coach takes that position. But again, all joking aside, I don't see much of an issue. Stanford, since the 2018 season, 2019 season, has really fallen off a cliff. They've been competitive in some games. They upset Oregon last year. They upset people from here and there, USC, stuff like that. But it's not a consistent thing. Notre Dame beat the crap out of them last season. I don't see anything really changing here, as this will be a home game for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Then you have 2 easier games before you play your second biggest matchup of the season. Against the Clemson Tigers. You have a UNLV Rebels team that isn't that good. You just don't have much there. They really struggled in Mountain West play last year, not achieving much. You had the former 5-star, and I think it's Carnell Tate, or that's the prospect that Notre Dame is looking at for the 2023 class. But he was out of there. I don't see much issue. This should be an easy win for Notre Dame, as UNLV is not a very successful program. Then you have Dino Babers' Syracuse Orange team. They're not particularly good either. Sean Tucker is a great running back and is probably one of the best running backs in college football, top 5 running back. So you do need to watch out for him. You need to be able to use that defensive line. With Isaiah Foskey and Riley Mills, you need to use that depth that you have there, not only the top guys like them, but the depth that you have there in order to win this type of ball game. But I don't see many problems with this game. This is at the Carrier Dome, so this should be an easy win. But do not look past this game. They could upset you if you don't look past it. So be attentive to maybe a closer game than you expect. If Notre Dame's season is going as I expect. Then you have the home game against Clemson Tigers. I'm going to spend a minute on here, but I will again do a preview for this game later on this year for it, so I don't want to get too much into it. Clemson and Notre Dame have gone back and forth in their series. Clemson won the 2018 Cotton Bowl, then Notre Dame won the 2020 Showdown without Trevor Lawrence, as it was DJ's second start. And then you had the ACC championship game in which Notre Dame got curb stomped by Clemson. This is not the same Clemson team that you had with Trevor Lawrence in either appearance, whether that was 2018 or 2020. This is just not the same team. I don't know whether DJ will be the starting quarterback by this point, whether Cade Klubnik will show what he needs to show in order to be that starting quarterback. I don't know, and I don't think anybody in that organization really has any idea what is going on, because, well, DJ did not show anything last year other than inconsistency. The offensive line will need to improve, and I think it will a little bit, but marginally. And then I think that the wide receivers should improve a little bit, but again, it's just marginal improvements. A lot of drop passes last year, a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of injuries, and you still have a lot of the same people there. It's not looking particularly shiny for Clemson this year. A playoff berth is possible, but not likely. I think that DJ is he could be a good group of 5 quarterback, but don't expect him to be a particularly good quarterback. I think that by the end of the season, you are probably going to have Cade Klubnik as the quarterback, but just kind of see where the season goes to see what happens. I just hope that DJ won't have another 400-yard game, but I do predict Notre Dame to win this game. I think that Notre Dame is the better team. They have a better offense overall, and I think their defense though it is not as good as Clemson's defensive line, their secondary is a lot better than Clemson's. Their linebackers are a lot better. And I think that Notre Dame will be able to get the win there. Then you have a road game against Navy. This is going to be a win. I think that Navy does not pose any issues other than they're annoying and crappy, but do be on upset alert again with these games in between the Clemson game with Navy playing the triple option. Just, it's not going to be an easy game. It's not, so just be on upset alert. Then you have the home game, your final home game of the season against Boston College. This is a win. The Phil Jakovic game, whatever. I think it has less meaning now with no Brian Kelly there and as Marcus Freeman as the head coach. But Tommy Rees is also the offensive coordinator still, so maybe there's a little bit of bad blood, but I highly doubt it. I think Notre Dame is able to get the win there, and I think that there isn't much issue with Jeff Hafley and his team. Then you head on the road to play the stupid Lincoln Riley-led USC Trojans. Again, this is still the same team. Yes, they have Jordan Addison. Yes, they have the Williams, that I can't think of his first name, the Williams quarterback from Oklahoma. Both are very talented. Both are extremely good players. But here's the problem. The problem for USC hasn't been wide receivers or quarterback. They've had that with Sam Darnold or Keaton Slovich or whoever it is, Jackson Dart. Hey, the list goes on and on. Whether they've been successful or not, some have been top 5 picks, some have not. Point being, it's this. Their problem is still offense and defensive line, and that's what Notre Dame is good at. I think Notre Dame should run them out, or not run them out, wear them out throughout the game. So that is it for today. I have Notre Dame going 11-1, a New Year's Six Bowl very likely, and a possible playoff bid depending on how the season goes. I think it is unlikely they get a playoff bid, but with no ACC team because Notre Dame beat them. And maybe you have a Big Ten team in Ohio State. You have Alabama. I don't think Georgia's going to be as good. You don't have an Oklahoma. You don't have a Pac-12 team. Maybe you can sneak in there as a third or fourth team. So as always, make sure the 2 videos down below. Subscribe up here and have a great day. Bye.